Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm going to take a break from teaching you really important things to teaching you something that's fun, but not really entirely important to your life. But I'm going to teach you how to solve one of these guys today. Now, this isn't going to be the best way to solve this Rubik's Cube. It's not going to be the fastest. It is the first way that I learned how to do it. So I think it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Now, this is going to be a very detailed video of how to solve it because there is a lot that goes into every step to solving this cube. So I'll leave timestamps for steps 1 through 6, just so you can go back and forth, and hopefully you can solve this by the end of the video, and hopefully it makes sense the way that I am explaining this. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so step number 1, well, we got to mess up the cube first. All right. So first rule, and some of these things might seem obvious, but this is just a beginner guide on how to solve this thing from scratch. So first rule, these middle blocks will never move. So when you're moving everything, you're moving things around them. Sure, it'll rotate, so yeah, I guess it does technically move, but it never moves from this spot. Now, I always start with the white, so that it's just easier for me to remember. You can start with any color you want, but I'm starting with white. If you want to follow along, you can start with, again, any color you want. I try to keep this middle block facing upward. So right now, I'm looking at it downward with the camera view. So the way we're going to try to solve it, we're going to just rotate it up like that, so it's facing up. So you're always looking at it kind of in this angle. So the way these work, you want to solve from the top to the bottom. So step number 1, we're going to do a little cross and matching these middle buttons, or sorry, these middle blocks as well. I see a lot of times that people solve one side and then all these colors are mismatched. So they don't actually solve it. They kind of just try halfway. So step 1, cross. Now I'm going to show you different scenarios and then I'll go through them each one by one. So first scenario is that there's a white block, a white edge on top matching this white as well. That's the easiest one to solve because it's already essentially in the right place. So we see over here that there's a white and a green. Obviously these don't match, so we need to move this green to match over here. Now each edge, not the corners, and the corners we'll worry about later, so don't worry about them right now. But each edge has 2 faces that it can move on. So there's this side face right here. See how this one moves? And there's this top face right here that this one also moves. So if you move this face or this back one, or even this one doesn't move. So only the 2 faces, this one and this one, this moves on. So if you were to move this face, you're obviously moving it away from this white block. So you don't want to do that. So you're wanting to move this one until it matches that green color as well. We know that it's right here, so we just have to turn it over like that. So you're matching green to green, white to white. That's the easiest one to solve if it's already on top. Now another scenario is if they're on the side like these. Sorry, these are corners. Like this one. So this one and this one are the same. This one's on the side face as well, which is a bit of a different scenario to solve. But they're all pretty simple anyway. So let's solve for this one first. So this one's a white and a blue. So this one, if you look, there's a blue right here and the white. So this has to go right here. Now, it's a little problematic sometimes because if we turn it, again, the 2 faces, this one and this one, move this guy. So if we move this face, it's in the right place, but it's turned around. So that's the wrong move to do. And it gets a little bit more complicated later down the road because then you have to move these guys that are already in place and mess up the whole cube and then do it backwards. So the easiest method to do these ones, you could move it this way, but then these guys aren't matching, and then you'll have to mess up this one as well. And it takes extra steps. So the easiest way to get this cross when you already have some of these in place is to make this one go face away from this middle white block. So instead of going towards it, you want to go away from it. So you want to do opposite. So that's on the top, and then that's on the bottom, that blue one. So that way, since it's on the bottom, you don't mess any of these other ones up. So if you had 3 white ones that are already in place, and you had this last one, you don't want to mess any of them up. So you want to put it on the bottom so you can turn this one at will, oops, and not touch this top one. So now that this one, originally, this blue and white one is down here, now we want to match this blue with the center blue, which we know is here. So we just turn this bottom face. Again, the original position of it was right here. So we move this face so we can move this down. Now it's right there. And now we move it so it can match blue to blue. Now that it's the bottom, we want it to get up here. Now that it matches, we can just move this face because we just moved this one. And now we move it upward towards the top. So that matches, and then we have the blue. All right, let's do this one. This one's perfect because this is the exact same thing that we just did now on the opposite side. But the problem now is that it's on the same face as this one. Why is that a problem? Because you can't move this one without moving this one. I mean, I guess you can move this, but the goal is to get this white facing away from this middle white. So if you move this, you're just moving the face. And then if you move it on this side, we have the same problem with this green where now these are on the same face. So let's go back to the original position. So this is where we do things to mess up the cube, and you can do moves to backtrack to fix it and then take this one out of the way. So the goal is to get this one down away from this middle white one. So we do that, but in turn that messes this one up. So because these two, this blue and white and red and white, are on this face right here that I'm turning, you want to separate these two from this face so that this one can move freely without this one. So when we turn this down, so this white faces away from it, you want to get this red off of this face so you can put this blue one back in the right place. So when you turn this one down, get it off of this face by just simply turning this bottom one out. So now this white and red one is on this face rather than this one. So once you do that, you can do it the other way too if you want. You can do it that way. I like to do it this way so I can actually see it. But once it's off of this face, then you can put this one back. Blue and blue, white and white, and this one, this white is on the bottom away from that. So now that that's it, now we match this red one. So from experience, I know that the red is opposite of this orange, green is opposite of blue. So I just turn this twice. I'm going to turn the whole cube so I can show you, but it's essentially turning this once on the bottom and then once again to match this red and red, white on the bottom, white on the top. And then you want to move this face because we just moved this one. You want to move this front face over twice, and now you have red matching, white matching. So we're almost there with the last one. All right, so this last one, finally, this one's a little tricky because now we have all 3 of these together and we have to mess this one up. So we have to mess up the whole cube in order to get this one up here. But it's essentially the same thing. Now don't panic if it's in a different spot, because if we have, whether it's here or any of these ones, all you got to do is turn this to the side. Turn it to the side, turn it up, whatever you want. And then if we turn it here, we have the exact same scenario that we had earlier with this red one, where this blue's in the way. So we have to get it off of this face. So this is the original one that we had. So now you can turn it all the way up, and that's in the right spot, but it's turned the wrong way. So we want to do it sideways. I'll go a little quicker this time. So now it's sharing a face with this blue one. So we drop it Now we got to get it off of this face. This is right here. Now that this white is facing away from this white, we can turn this bottom one. Orange right here, and then the white on the bottom. And we can move this back. And now that this is already matching, we just turn this front one like that, and we get our white cross. Don't worry about these guys. This one actually is in the right spot already, so we got lucky on that one. But I'll mess it up just so I can show you guys later. But we got the white cross, and if you notice, it's orange, orange, green, green, red, red, blue, blue. All right, so step 2, we're going to focus on these corners. So again, we want to match it to the corresponding middle colors as well as the white. Well, I mean, they're all middle colors. So you're going to have a few different scenarios. So where you're going to have one that's on the top. So looking at the white cross on the top, you'll have a white corner on the top. You'll have a white corner on the top on the side face, or on the bottom of the side face, or you might have one at the very bottom as well. So those are the different scenarios. So you'll have one on the very top. You could have one on the side face on the top, or the side face on the bottom, or you can have the white on the very bottom. The goal on this one is to actually get them on the bottom of the side faces so that we can easily put them in the right location. So let's get this one first, because this is going to be the easiest one. So you look for the middle color. So you have white, green, and orange. So this block right here has to go right there. Now, since you're beginning, or if this is your first time solving it, the easiest way to do this is to put it right under where it's supposed to go. So it's supposed to go right there. So you want it right under it, just so you can kind of have that knowledge of where it's supposed to go. So you can move this of 2 ways. Now that since these are in the corner, now these are on 3 phases rather than this one being on 2, like the corner one is just on 2 phases. This one is now on 3, which is just the one we moved down here in the bottom, this one on the corner, and then this one over here as well. So all these 3 faces will move that corner cube. So the best way to know what move to do is to actually just move the cube into that spot. So if we move this, well, let's move this one. So obviously, if we move this bottom face forever and ever and ever, it will never get to this spot. So that's not the move we want to do just yet, at least. Now, if you move this one, this face into it, it doesn't match. It's in the right spot, but it's backwards. So that's not the right move. So the only other face that you can move is this one. So now that matches orange, orange, green, green, white, white. But it messes everything out. It messes this one up. So we got to do something else to do that. So since we want to move it this way, we want to move this face up. We got to drop this block down to put this into its spot. And what I mean by that is that first we got to get this off of this face. So I just put this block under here so I know which direction I want to move this cube into. So what I'm going to do is take this block off of this face. So I can't move it this way because it'll still be on that same face right here. So I don't want to do that one. So that's the wrong move. So I'm going to move it this way so it's off of this face. So now I'm going to drop this block. So I'm going to drop it that way. And now, so that drops this guy right here. So then I'm going to put it back so this matches. And then I'm going to put these back. So that gets a green and green, orange, orange, white and white. I'm going to run through all of these so it hopefully makes a little bit more sense. So now let's do this one, blue, red, and white. So this one's actually in the right spot too, blue, red, and white. Again, it's backwards. So for this one, since it's on the top, we want it on the bottom side faces. So again, the multiple 3 phases that you can move these on is the top face, which we don't want to do that because that's going to mess up all of these. So we're not going to move that one. We can move it this way, but then this is going to face down away from this one, and it's going to make it harder for us to solve that one. So we don't want to do it that way. The only other face is to move it sideways like this, but that causes us to move this guy. So in order to not mess this guy up, we got to separate these 2 blocks, which means we got to move one of them off of this face. So this is the one we're moving, so we got to move this one. So if we drop it like that, we got to move it off of this face. So not this way, because it's still going to be on that face right here. So we got to move it this way. And now we do it back. We move this guy back. So now we got this bottom blue and red out of the way. So now this one's backwards from the one we just did. So doing it from this side is not going to do it. It's not going to solve it. Because if we drop this guy like we did last time and put this guy in place, it doesn't match. So putting this back, it just puts us back in the same spot. So actually, let me show you what I'm doing again, because this is how we had it. So we want to drop it, get it off of this face, and then turn it so we get it off that face, and then move this back. So now if we put this red and blue one under the spot where it's supposed to go, now we can see which direction that moves. So if we move it this direction, it doesn't match. If we move it this direction, now it matches. So we want to move this face this way. Sorry, I keep messing the camera up because I'm looking at the cube. But we want to move this guy up this way. So we got to move it off of this face again. Again, not over here because it would just be in that face. So we got to move it out of the way so we can drop this cube down. And then we can put this cube in its spot now that it matches. And then we move it back up. So now we have red, red, blue, blue, white, white. So this one's the exact same thing. Exact same scenario. So we got to get this guy on the bottom face somewhere. Sorry, not the bottom face, but on the side face on the bottom. So not this way, because it's going to be facing away. It's going to make our life harder. So we want to do it sideways. Get it off of this face. So we'll do it this way. Then move this back so we don't mess everything up. Now this one's a green and a red. So that's going to go right here. Boom. And this is, again, the exact same thing. So we want to move it this way so it matches. So this face is what we're moving. So we're going to get it out of the way. Boom. It's right there. Sorry, I don't want to move too fast. Go right there. We're going to drop this block. We're going to put it in this spot. And we're going to move it back. So now we just have one left. So we got this guy right here. So this is a good scenario because all we got to do is this. Boom. But I got to show you the hardest scenario in case you run into it. So in case you get this, where this one's on the bottom facing away from it, this obviously has to go right there. So no matter how you turn this cube, it doesn't match. So we have to get it out of the bottom part and onto the side so we can just fit it right in there. That's what she said. So what you want to do is to get this block right under where it's supposed to go, just like this one. So you don't want it over here because it's supposed to go there. You don't want it there. You don't want it here. You don't want it on this side. You want it right under it. Because if you do it under one of these guys, you're going to mess these other blocks up. So since we want this one out of the way, it doesn't really matter where this one goes right now. That's the one we're going to kick out. So pick your side. I'm going to do this. I'll do it this way. So you want to move either way, left or right. So we'll do it right because that's in the bottom. So we'll do it this way. So you notice how this one's on the bottom now on the side face, and this one's dropped this one down too. So it went from up here and now it's dropped down to the bottom. So now you want to move this one off of this face that we just moved. This face right here. So if we drop it, boom, we don't want to turn it this way because it's still in this face. Because then when you move it back, now it's at the top. We're still at a disadvantage. So you want to move it off this face. So we're going to move it this way, off of this face, and then we move these two back so we don't mess anything up. So now if you turn the cube, you'll see that this white is on the side now instead of the bottom. And now we do the exact same thing that we've done before, where this guy goes up here. So we get it off of this face, turn, we drop this guy, put it in its place, and we bring it back up. So now you have your white side finished with all these three colors matching their corresponding middle block. All right, step 3, we are going to solve for these middle edges. So now you're going to have a few scenarios on here as well. So sometimes you get really lucky and you'll already have a blue and a red one in the right spot, or any color really. You'll have them either on there, like this one for example, green and green, but this one's red. So this one is actually supposed to be right there, and this one is supposed to be right there. That's the most annoying one because you have to do an extra step, but it's pretty easy. This one's supposed to be there, and then you'll get another scenario where this one is on the bottom. This is ideal, where you want the non-yellow edges on the bottom right here. I mean, they can be anywhere like that. But we'll do this one first because it's the easiest one. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find the edge. Remember to keep that white up top like this. So you want to find the color, red and blue. You want to match this, what color this is. So in this scenario, it's red. So you want to match this one with the middle red color. So it's like that. It forms a T. So once you have that, you want to face the middle color that's on the bottom. I know it's a little confusing, but in this scenario, it's blue. So you want to face not this block, not this blue block, but you want to face the main middle color that corresponds to the bottom. So in this case, it's blue. So we want to look at this middle block color that's blue. So if this color was green, this bottom one, we would look at the green. We would stare at the green. In this case, it's blue, so we're going to look at the blue. Now this step is a little interesting because this is the first time that we actually are introduced to like an algorithm where you have to do a certain set of moves in order for something to work. So what we're going to essentially do is kick this guy out and put this guy in its place, mess up the whole cube and redo it again so these two switch, or so this one goes in there. And I'll show you, it's super easy moves, like 6 moves, but it's effective. And it's scary because you're gonna mess up all this, but it's okay. Sometimes we gotta mess things up to fix them. That doesn't make any sense. But when we're looking at this color, you're gonna have 2 directions, either this side or this side. So if this was an orange and blue and the blue was on the bottom, we'd do it for this side. Since it's on this side, on the left, in this scenario, we're gonna work with this guy. Now, I like to think of this part as kind of like a little house. So right here is your door. So this face is the door. So either you're gonna go out the door or you're gonna go into the house because there's 2 right here. This is the house. So the door, the house. So out and in. Now, if we work on the right side, so this one, this is the door. So out this way and in to the house this way. I do that because saying left and right can get a little confusing depending on which side we're working on. So we're gonna do a set of moves. I'm gonna go over it a few times so you can get it. But we're gonna go up, out, up, out, up. On the third up, we reverse it, going in, down, down. Oh, let me demonstrate. So this guy, and you know where to start because the first move, it should match right there. So this whole line should be nice and matched. But obviously we're gonna be messing up all this stuff. See? All right, so here we go. We're gonna go up, out, because of the door, up, out, up. See how that whole thing's messed up? But on the third up, we're gonna reverse everything. In, down, down. And magically, these guys are matched. Let me show you on the other one. So this guy's now a blue and an orange. So first step is to match this color right here. So blue and blue. And now we're gonna face the orange, not the block, not this physical block, but the color that's on the bottom. So we're gonna face orange. So this is on the same side. So again, out because it's the door. So up, out, up, out, up. On the third up, we reverse it. Inward, going back into the house. In, down, in, down, in, down. Messed that one up. But now that's nice and matched. Okay. So now these guys are backwards. So these are annoying because they essentially have to flip. I don't have an algorithm to have these 2 flip yet. So what we got to do is we got to just kick one out. We'll kick this one out, and then we got to put this in its place. That'll automatically kick this one out, and then we'll put that one in its place. So I'm going to do this one because it's reversed. It's backwards. So we're going to move. We're going to pretend we're moving this guy into there. So yellow and red is going to go in there. So it's the exact same move, only backwards, because now we got to go this way out instead of this way out. So because we're working on this one. So we're going to go up. We're still working on with the bottom face too, though. Up, out, up, out, up. On the third up, we reverse in, down, down. So we have the yellow and the red, and then we got this green and orange on the bottom here, which is where we want it. That's actually perfect because we got this matching. Green's on the bottom, so we face the main color that's on the bottom. So this is green, and we're going to do the exact same thing to kick this guy out. Up, out, up, out, up, in, down, down. Magically, this matches. So the last one we got, red and green. The red's matching already. So we face the green one right here. Now this is on the other side. So again, same exact steps. Up, out, up, out, up, in, down, down. And again, magically we got all greens, all reds, blues, orange, and still the white. All right, and even though we have most of the block done, we're only halfway because this is the hardest part. This is the part that takes the most memorization. So now we're going to flip the cube upside down. We finished the top two layers, so now we're going to work on the bottom layer. So just like step one, we're going to make a cross. So we want the cross. If there's extra on the side, doesn't matter. You want the cross. If there's none on the side or on the corners, doesn't matter. We want a yellow cross. So this step, we're going to, again, make sure that the yellow's facing up, because if you do it like this way, it's going to mess up your whole cube. So yellow facing up, it doesn't matter which direction you use. Just pick one. So we're going to use this front face. So front face to the clockwise. Front face to the clockwise. Front face clockwise. Top face clockwise. Right face up. Now we're going to do it backwards. So top face counterclockwise. Right face down. Front face counterclockwise. Magically, you'll have a cross. You might have to do that a few times in order to get that. So eventually, if you do it enough, it'll come back to this. So I'll do it a few times just to show you, so you can memorize it. But it's front. So first is clockwise, the front and the top, and this one's up. And then when you do it backwards, it's counterclockwise and then down. The order of the phases is a little funny because it's front, up, right, front, up. I can't even say it. Front, top, right, front. That's the order of the faces that you're going to move. And then it's clockwise, second part, counterclockwise. Because we're doing everything forward and then backwards in order to move certain pieces. So we got to go clockwise, clockwise up, counterclockwise down, counterclockwise. So you see how that changes the top, and then only changes this face. It doesn't move any of these colors, which is kind of cool. But the goal is to have this cross. Now, if you have one like this, where it's just 3, it's best to start it like that in this pattern versus this pattern, just because you'll be able to get that a little bit quicker. You'll also have something like if it's like a little L, you want the little L to be on top and on the side. So we don't have that right now. So we're just going to do it again. Front, top, right, front. So now we have that little L. So we want to keep it up here in the corner. Clockwise, clockwise, up, counterclockwise, down, counterclockwise. And we're back to that X, to that cross. Again, don't worry about these yet. You just want to make sure you have this cross first. Okay, so our next goal is to get all of these middle colors matching. As you can see, we just have one. So I'm going to just do one side just for this video. I guess I can do both just to show you, because you can choose either left or the right. Let me do this side first. So if you're working on the left side, you're going to turn counterclockwise. If you're working on the right side, you're going to turn clockwise. And best case scenario, you do this move once. Worst case scenario, you do it twice, just to get all these matching. So I'm going to do pretty quick move. So it's up, quarter turn, and by quarter turn, it's just one like this. So up, quarter turn, down, quarter turn, up, half turn. So like this, 2 turns, and then down. So pretty simple move. So up, turn, counterclockwise, down, turn, up, full half turn till it matches, and then down. So that was once. We'll do it one more time. Up, turn, down, turn, up, half turn, down. We see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you want to mess it up, from this point, I would do it 3 times. Let me do it this way. So you go up, and then we're going to turn the other way. So again, if you're doing left, you're turning counterclockwise. If you're doing right, you turn clockwise. Up, clockwise, down, clockwise, up, half turn. It doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise, because you're doing a full half turn, and then down. So we're almost there. Up, turn, down, turn, up, half turn, down. So we'll do it one more time. Up, turn, down, turn, up, half turn, down. So we got orange, blue, red, and green with the cross in the middle still. All right, guys, we're almost done. We got these edges ready to go. Now we got to solve for these corners. Now, sometimes we get lucky and we get these in the exact right spot. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but it's fine. These ones aren't in the right spot. We do have one, red, blue, and yellow. That's right there. It's just in the wrong order. All the other ones are mixed up. So this next move is going to essentially keep this one the same and move all 3 of these into the right spot. So this move, for simplification purposes, keep this block on the bottom right, like this, not on the bottom left or the top. So it just makes it a little simpler to solve. So this move, again, it's going to switch all these guys, and we're going to use this top face as well as right and left face. And we're going to do, this move's kind of funny because it's just back and forth. So we're going to move this one starting clockwise, and we're going to alternate. So we're going to do top face right, top face left, top face right, top face left. So we're going to do essentially whenever the top face move is going to go clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. And then the side phases are going to go up, up, down, down. But it's going to alternate. So let me show you. So again, these are all messed up. This is the only one in the right spot. Okay, so we're going to go clockwise, up, counterclockwise, up, clockwise, down, counterclockwise, down. So nothing really happened yet. So we got to do it one more time. So clockwise, up, counterclockwise, up, clockwise, down, counterclockwise, down. So now if we look at the corners, that one's right. That one's in the right spot. Now these ones are just completely solved. So sometimes we get lucky. Other times they're all over the place. Let me show you guys. And you can do this on either side. Let me show you guys on the other side, because you essentially do it the same, just backwards. So you would go counterclockwise up, and you start with the other side. Clockwise up, counterclockwise down, counterclockwise down. So that messes all these guys up again. Cool. So I'm going to do it back. I'm going to do it the other way once so I can solve for these. So we got to go top, right, top, left, top, right, top, left. Oh, I guess I messed it up. Oh, because I was looking at the wrong one. No. All right, we'll do it again. So we got these ones. These ones good. Now we just got to solve for these two. All right, last step. Now it doesn't matter where you start. Again, for simplification purposes, we're going to start with this bottom right block. You can do it at the bottom left, but it's just backwards from what I'm going to do. So again, look with the yellow facing up, look at the color. I'm going to use this one. All right. Last step is to get all these solved. So regardless of how many you have solved, you can have 2 like this. You can have none solved. You can have 1 solved, I think. But regardless of how many you have like this, you can do this move over and over again until you get all of them like this. Now, the best way to do this, again, you can do it either left or right. I'm going to work on the right face just to make things simple. Okay, so this consists of basically 4 basic moves. You're doing 2 moves and then you're doing them backwards. So you're going to go down this face, and then this bottom face you're going to turn this way. So this guy's going to, all we're really doing is moving this guy into the right place. So we're going to mess up the whole cube, but because we're doing the same move over and over again, all we're doing is moving this, and eventually it'll solve itself. But pay close attention. So we're doing down and then clockwise on the bottom face. And then we're going to do it backwards. So down, clockwise, up, counterclockwise. Okay, and we do that move until we get this yellow up here. Down, clockwise, up, counterclockwise. See how that's there now? So that's solved, but obviously we have the whole cube still missing. Now this part's important. Don't move the cube like this because you're going to mess it all up. You want to move this guy over here, but don't do this because that's not going to the right spot. So you want to actually just move that here. Once you finish your set of the 4 moves, down, turn, up, turn, and this lands here, that's the 4 moves. So don't go down, turn, up, and leave it there. You have to turn this one back. You have to finish that 4th move. So once this is up here, then we can turn this over here like that. And we can do the exact same move again. Down, clockwise, up, counterclockwise. Okay, we don't have that yellow one up here yet, so we got to do it again. Down, clockwise, up, counterclockwise. Okay, it's getting closer. Down, clockwise, is that clockwise? Up, counterclockwise. Okay, we got one more. Down, clockwise, up, counterclockwise, or you can just solve the whole cube. All right, guys, so I hope that explanation makes sense. I learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube probably about 15 years ago at this point. I was never the fastest Rubik's Cube solver. I did consistently get around 45 seconds where I could solve this cube, so I learned a lot of different methods, but this was the first way that I learned how to do it. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but hopefully, like I said, it makes sense. Hopefully each step I was able to explain it in enough detail. And I know it can be a little slow sometimes with the explanation, but just from my past experiences of teaching people how to solve this, I do have to break it down like this in order for you to understand, hopefully, how certain things work. But I know this isn't my usual type of video, but for some reason I thought, hey, let's share some random knowledge that I know that I've acquired over the last few decades. So there it is. Hopefully some of you can solve it. Hopefully some of you have already solved it with this video, but that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.